Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl BondyBlue, and I am back for a Reasonable Doubt review. As you guys know, I actually did a live, maybe last week, and it was the one because I didn't have time to finish it because it's like the whole season review, and y'all know how I like to go note for note. So either way, I hope you guys will enjoy this last part to Reasonable Doubt season 1 review. Without any further ado, let's get into it.
Come on in, come on in, come on in, not come on in, not come. Sorry, y'all know I'm weird, whatever.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl BondyBlue. So let's go ahead. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl BondyBlue. Okay, follow me on Instagram and let's get into the video, right?
All right, girl. We had to go back to pre-recorded because every time I tried to do something live, it acts crazy. Then on top of that, I actually did a pre-recorded video yesterday, and it literally took forever to get to the 98, and it was just sitting there. So I stopped it and started it again, and it's sitting on 7%. So it just seems like YouTube does not want to let me create content. That's what it feels like right now. I don't know. But either way, I'm probably gonna just start putting stuff on my website, and that way that y'all can at least see it regardless to what's going on with YouTube, because yeah, it's even like they don't really want to let me upload my content. So I don't really know what to do at this point. But let's go ahead and get a Reasonable Doubt. Okay, we left off talking about Autumn, right? I think we were talking about the lesbian homegirl Autumn. And how back in the day when they were younger, she hadn't come out. Because I think this is the episode where they give us the flashback to when, I guess when Jax first took Damon's case. I think that's where the flashback is taking us. So Autumn is a gay homegirl. She hasn't come out to Chanel and Sally yet. She finds out that Jax finds out that Damon stabbed a guy, and he swore it was an accident. There was a fight that broke the bar. I think it was because his partner, I think the partner is probably the one that stabbed the guy that ended up being killed during the bar fight. But because of the melee and they actually look a lot alike, we can't really tell, okay? So Jax tells Damon to take a plea deal, and he is feeling offended. I guess he thought that she was supposed to care about him, which is weird to me because I feel like she had not expressed that type of energy, but he's just like, fine, I'll take the deal. I'm just an inmate with a number anyway. So yeah, I'll take the deal. And I felt off rip. Like, even though he had every right to feel that way, it almost felt manipulative in some way, because later on, when we come back to present, he very much was jealous. He very much was getting upset when he could not get his way with Jax, and he would kind of like drop it on her like she was doing something wrong when she had been very clear about what her boundaries were, and he would just decide because of his feelings for her to cross those boundaries. And then when she tells him, no, that's not where I'm at with it, he has this reaction like she did something to him. And I feel like that was the similar reaction when she was telling him to take the plea deal. You know what? I'm just an inmate to you anyway. Fuck it. And I'm like, I mean, you can just be an inmate to her. I'm just saying, at the time, she was working for the state. You literally are just the inmate. And I get it. Like, you don't want to be seen that way. You want somebody to fight for you. But the guilt trip that he laid at her feet just is reminiscent of the way their relationship moved thereafter. Okay? Even though he never made her feel bad about not winning the case, which I'm not surprised, because I feel like he knew that might ostracize her. And because he was left in there, you kind of still want to have your connections to the outside. So yeah. So moving on. Mama Lou is pressuring Jax to find a man before she gets too old. Even though Jax has an exciting career. Jax is a lawyer. Jax is doing what she wants to do with her life, and all her mom can think about is, girl, find a man. And I can't tell you like how annoying that is to have like all of those things going on in your life, and the only thing anybody want to ask you about is a man or a baby. As if talking about your career is going to upset them or make them feel a way. They would rather talk about that are easily obtainable, like a man and a baby. They don't want to talk about the shit that's hard for you to accomplish. Oh no, let's talk about this baby shit. You know what I'm saying? And for some of us, that is hard, but it's like, why can't we talk about the things in my life that I'm proud to talk about? Why do we have to talk about the things that you feel like make you more superior than me because you have a man or you have a kid? Like, I'm just saying that whole conversation is very exhausting and triggering to me. So her own mom ignoring the career that she's building for herself so we can talk about a man, yeah, it's exhausting. Her mom then mentions Paul. At this point, Paul and the mom are separated. Mama Lou and Paul separated after Paul hopped in the bed with Jax when Jax was a teenager. And the mom left Paul. It was like, oh, he has a drinking problem. Not he's trying to, do something to my daughter, when really he was trying to do something to your daughter, but we're going to get into it. Okay. But her mom mentions Paul wanting to talk, but she doesn't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea either. But you know what, mama, you're going to do what you want to do because we see you end up back with Paul once we get back to present. So we going to, just pass through. Jax feels like it's possible Damon's homeboy is the actual killer because they look alike and maybe he was misidentified. So Jax is now really going to try to, defend the defendant, to defend Damon, against the prosecution. She's going to try. The girls have a bachelorette party for Sally because Sally is about to get married. But Sally throws up on the stripper and talks about how she loves Chris, but she's scared to settle down with one dick, letting us know that Sally had a whore phase before she got to the very nice, sweet Chris. Damon decides to take it to trial, okay? He doesn't want to take the plea deal. He tells Jax he's going to take his case to trial, and Jax fights very hard for him, as hard as she can. And he's pouring into her as well, calling her at night, talking to her about her life as well. The relationship very much became personal. She talks to him about how she feels being single. Then they have real hot phone sex. Child, if you know something about some real hot phone sex, okay, it'll get you. It'll get you. Jax catches the bouquet at Sally's wedding. JT didn't show up for Chanel at said wedding, already being a disappointment at the very beginning of their relationship. Should have been a red flag, but no, Chanel was going to marry him and let him beat her up anyway. Mama Lou has Jax sit down with Paul so he can apologize for his drinking problem. Jax runs out when she realizes her mom has already decided that she's going to take Paul back. Don't ask me to take the apology. Don't ask me to care about his apology because essentially you're going to do what you want to do anyway. Damon takes the stand in his own defense. And when he gets questioned by the state, Damon gets angry when it's insinuated that he was getting his ass kicked, which is why he pulled out a knife to stab someone. Raphael, his partner, took a plea deal and blamed Damon. They lost. She got tired of fighting an unwinnable fight. And when she lost Damon's case, Jax decided to quit the public defender's office. It really was heartbreaking for her, turning point in her life. She offers to appeal the case, but he says, no, it's over. Much resigned to accept his fate. She can't be in this life with him now that he's in jail. And it's time for him to serve his time. She leaves and runs into the back of Lewis's car. And instead of being mad, Lewis is like, are you okay? And so now we see how the chain of events, even Damon's case, led to her finding Lewis. Because I think if she had not been so distraught, so upset, if she had not been on the road that day, feeling however she felt that day, then she may not have met Lewis. So y'all, just trying to show y'all how life worked out. So in present time, she calls Damon over to fuck. Okay, that's what it look like. And listen, the scenes between Jax and Damon down to the hotel room, child, or something to be seen. Okay, it's on Hulu. I'm just saying. What was Kalisha going to whistleblow about? Okay, that was a question. When we were talking about Kalisha's murder, it was brought up that she was going to whistleblow some information about Braden's company. Braden doesn't want to tell anybody what it was. Then the trial starts. Jax is feeling guilty, but the sex with Damon was bomb. Okay. And she says that she'll take 10 more yeast infections to continue getting bent out by Damon. And it's like, girl, that's a terrible trade-off, but fine, you know, if that's how you feel about it. Sarah talks to Kalicia's husband. He wants Braden to go to prison. Sarah doesn't believe that he did it. Y'all know that Kalicia's husband is Christian Key's fine ass. Okay, one of the only, okay, child, they have two of the sexiest light complected black men that I've ever seen on this damn show. Michael Ealy and Christian Key's, child. And they both give you two types. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Michael Ealy is the rugged kind and Christian is the pretty kind. Okay, child, you know, but he also gives, I might be pretty, but I'm not that crazy. You know what I'm saying? There's probably some everybody crazy, but y'all know what I mean. I feel like they are pretty dudes that tend to be volatile, out of control of themselves sometimes. Like that's really the experience with a lighter complected so-called pretty men. They can be like real you know what I'm saying? And Christian just seems to be very even keel, very talented in such things, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, shout out to Christian Keys. So, like I said, Sarah doesn't believe that Braden killed Kalisha. She knew about the affair between Braden and Kalisha a while ago, Brian, a while ago. And she knows that it makes her look bad because she was sending emails to Kalisha threatening her. And listen, Kalisha husband don't care. Kalisha husband do not care, okay? He wants justice for Kalisha. He's hurt. He's also hurt that Braden was fucking his wife. So that Jax is on her way to a date with Damon at a hotel room, and her mom drops off cake and tells her to make sure whoever is making her smile is worth the risk. Like, mama, can you leave her alone? Can you leave her alone? Like, Jesus. So Damon got a nice hotel room, okay? Tells her it's about her tonight. And, you know, she can just take a bath and chill. You know what I'm saying? So this man that basically doesn't even have enough money to be with this lady who is rich, it seems, okay? I'm just saying rich compared to my standards, because you're living in Los Angeles in a beautiful house and you are a private criminal attorney. Yeah, it's giving you got bank, okay? And your husband is in tech. Yeah, it's giving y'all got bank. The house is giving y'all got bank, okay? Can you please go sit down somewhere? Sit down. Yes, it's definitely giving you guys have bank, okay? And just the thought that he would take the little money that he has to get a really nice hotel room for her so that she can just relax. It was nice. It was cute. But then he started getting jealous, worried that he's not good enough to bring around her friends. But it's like, it's not that you're not good enough. It's just the fact that I'm not in a space right now where I can bring anybody around my friends and family, because I'm still married, even though I'm separated, and everybody is rooting for me and my husband. So I can't just be bringing people around, especially, you know, Damon, people who are volatile like you, okay? Like, just chill, money, chill, okay? She goes to her high school reunion. Some dude comes up to the crew talking about Jax is representing a murderer. Then Chanel AT, even though he was supposed to be there. It's just kind of like, oh, girl, you really couldn't come in here by yourself. You had to have that weird ass dude with you. When we know like how badly their relationship is going, it just gives showman's peace. It gives insincere. And Jay wasn't even supposed to be there. So then when he gets upset that there were no other husbands there, it was just kind of like, really, dude? Just you have to be upset about something. He leaves, goes outside. She follows behind him. He almost hits her. And then the car rides off. And she's like following behind him. And you know how you jerk off, then you stop, you know, that type of thing. But I think he rolled around the whole block and then came back and belittled her. And then she gets in the car. She's a dumbass in the car, some shit like that. And it was just like, JT is childish, narcissistic, and abusive. And you're crying behind him like the battered woman. But got all of that smoke for Jax about staying with her husband. Like, it's weird. It's so weird. You know, like you would think somebody that in a bad marriage would not be always, but I guess it comes from the mindset of feeling like because Lewis isn't terrible like JT is, that Jack should just be, you know, girl, you should just be great for that man. And I feel like it's so obnoxious, like, whatever. So y'all, Theo, Braden's racist partner, comes over to his house and tells him that he's found out he's been trying to sell Cloud, the liquor, behind Braden's back. Theo denies trying to take the company from Braden. He says Kalisha was the one stealing. He tells him he's weak and he let a blowjob and some cocoa butter lead him astray. And I was just like, a blowjob and some cocoa butter? Y'all, you know, I saw somebody referring to the black woman as, you know, the cocoa butter, you know, Twitter, the cocoa Twitter or whatever the fuck, something like that. But I just feel like also now we're going to even turn the way black women moisturize their bodies into a negative. Got it. Because I mean, like the fact that he said that, this white man on this show said that, and then I've seen that in a similar manner said about black women on Instagram, it's just kind of like, isn't that amazing the way you guys find a way to have a problem with us and then make the smallest things about us something that you can categorize and use as a negative against us? Like the cocoa butter brigade or whatever the fuck they called. Like, I was just kind of, wow, women can't even moisturize them. Black women can't even put fucking cocoa butter on their bodies, you know, without it being mentioned as if it's ridiculous that we do it. It's weird. It's so weird. Braden gives Jax information on Kalisha stealing from the company, and he admits that Theo was going to inflate the value of the company for the sale. And that means the company is actually worth less. Okay? They hear a recording of Kalisha dying in court. It was on Ryan, her husband's phone. She called him, I guess, as she was dying, and the phones didn't ping in the same space. So that should let you know that Christian Keys, aka Ryan, did not kill Kalisha because she was the one that he called when she was dying. And I was just like, oh my God, like that has to be terrible. You know what I'm saying? Like to be cheated on by your woman, but y'all still love each other on some level. So she calls you when something happens to her, and you got to hear her die on the phone, and the person that killed her was the dude she was cheating on you with. Oh my God. Jeez, terrible, terrible situation. Sarah, Braden's wife, goes to see Ryan and sucks his peen. I was just like, oh wow, okay. She did it to get even with me. That's what, child, isn't that so, you know, stereotypical of a white girl? I'm just saying, y'all, it seems very stereotypical of white girls. You know, I'm a suck dick in vengeance. Child. that's below me, child. I don't know. That's not where I'm at with it. I'm not sucking anybody's dick for vengeance. Braden questions gets home. Like he got it right. Damon wants to work with his brother doing the illegal shit in the chop shop because it's expensive. Jess doesn't know what she wants. So he's going to go. I guess he felt like he was doing this illegal car parts business with his brother out of spite, but also so that he could afford Jax. Okay, child. We get an episode from Lewis's point of view, and he gets up in the morning, meditates, works out, jacks off, gets the kids ready for school, including doing his daughter's hair and making sure the kids aren't ashy. He goes to work to create games while being checked on by some goofy looking white guy. It's giving micromanage. Then he goes to the kids' school and gets questioned about his marriage by one of the moms, who obviously wants some dick. Braden and Susan are on their way to court. Susan says, you know what, Brayden, I need support too. Brayden asks about her meeting with Kalicia's husband, and she tells him that he wants to put you in jail, okay? I did what I did for this family, okay? I did what I always do, which is protect this family. But what would you know about that when you spent the last year destroying it? I was like, child, I don't know why you thought you was gonna step to Sarah with this attitude. Like, dude, you cheated on that lady, and the lady that you was cheating with ended up not only like fucking up your company in the bag, but also you on trial for her murder, and you think you got a right to question Sarah about anything? The entitlement is astounding. Child, the gall, the unmitigated gall. You know what I'm saying? If there's child, if there's anything you niggas gonna have, is some gall. Okay. Anyway, he tells her no matter what she is, no matter what, she is his center. Okay. And she believes him. Girl, you don't know you married to a psychopath. Okay. So they go to court. And Kalicia's cousin is on the stand wearing Kalicia's signature red glasses. She reads a text Kalicia sent to her about Brayden's betrayal and him calling her his center. So Sarah heard that. Now Sarah knows that he was just using that you're my center shit so that he could emotionally manipulate the women around him. Now she realized that she was manipulated in a car over here. Honestly, I feel like you can't even really be mad at Kalicia once you think about that. How you gonna be mad at Kalicia? She fell for the same line you did. I mean, I'm just saying. You fell for it too, girl. Jax makes the cousin look crazy when she highlights a physical altercation that she had with Kalicia over her daughter. And I told y'all her daughter was stealing from Kalicia. And she screams that Brayden killed Kalicia. Makes her look crazy in court. Boom, that's done. Spencer has been hiding his bad grades, and Lewis finds out. Y'all know Spence is Jax and Lewis's son. They take his phone and smoke weed together. Okay, did you see that little nigga's face? I love this moment. Then Lewis admits to his brother that he and Jax are separated. Very hard for him to do. Lewis runs into Chanel's husband, JT. He tells him that he had to put his foot down. Okay, when Chanel started talking all of that feminine shit, okay? Talking I don't need a man shit. Lewis is looking forward to the when he can handle Jax the way JT handles Chanel, not understanding that JT beats Chanel. Like, it's not the same, sir. If you want to be in a partnership with another human being, you are really going to have to get it out your mind that you can just, you know, make your woman do whatever you want her to do. Like, no, like women can't make you niggas do whatever we want y'all to do unless it has some vagina involved. And a lot of times that may or may not work, especially if they've had the vagina several times. Okay. JT told him to come by his pool party he's having so that they can enjoy the alone time. And the alone time means the time that you can fuck other people without guilt. Okay. Or getting in whatever. Lewis gets there, and Sally's husband, Chris, is there as well. He's also JT's cousin, but he mentions by marriage because Chris really does not want to be linked to JT because he doesn't really like JT. He doesn't know any of the people at JT party is giving, you know, randoms that y'all just have come here for the sex drug party, okay? Then he runs into that school mom who gave him her phone number at the beginning of the episode. They talk about her recent divorce and how she has more time to herself now. Then JT asked Lewis if he checked Jax yet. Why are you asking me if I checked my wife? Don't you think that's like an overstep of a boundary? Like, are y'all cool like that for him to, you know, it was just, I don't know. I just didn't like the language of it, especially considering the way JT views women. And a lot of people, it annoys me because I hate when people don't weigh things. So I remember having a conversation with him, and basically because he feels like men and women are equal in his mind. Okay, in his mind. And I say that because when I say, you know, when y'all call women females, you know, you don't understand. So, you know, people, when someone calls a man a male, nobody gets upset. So why are you getting upset when somebody says female? It's ignore the system in which we live. It's to ignore the way women are villainized and slut shamed constantly. As soon as a man does not like that woman, he is able to use certain things against her that cannot be used against him. His sex life can't really be used against him. Not really. Okay. There aren't a lot of words that can be said to men that are on the same level as when men call women a bitch. That's why women just start calling men bitches like that, you know, and I feel like even then sometimes, depending on the man, it doesn't have the same effect. Okay. So, you know, I mean, honestly, using that word to describe a man when it literally means female dog should let you know something. Like, when is it that there is something that describes, you know, a man that is used against him as a negative besides like deadbeat dad shit? But like, I feel like often men try to compare the way women are treated to the way men are treated. And because they have interpersonal relationships where they've been treated a certain way, they think the overall is just like that. And it's like, no, it's not. The overall is not just like that. So with this specific situation with JT, it's like you're not paying attention to the fact that JT has a lot of aggression towards women. And because you are upset at your wife in this moment, you're not picking up on the weight of the situation. Okay, like you're really not. You're not picking up on the weight of it. Chris is trying to tell y'all the whole time they're having this conversation. Chris is trying to say to Lewis and to JT that, nah, you know what I'm saying? Get some counseling. Talk to your wife. You made the mistake when you tried to get her to choose between her job and you from the beginning. You know, Lewis, when Chris was dropping that real shit during this conversation, it was all, oh man, shut up. The way these women try to rule us. And that's the funny part. JT has this feeling that, oh, women trying to run shit. But it's okay for you to run shit. It's okay for you to beat her. It's okay for you to cheat on her. It's okay for you to dog her out. But God forbid she have this I don't need you mentality. Like, does anybody understand what I'm saying? Because I feel like, you know, my point gonna be lost among somebody. But, you know, I feel like I'm making the point that in conversations, men think their angst or their aggravation with women in their personal relationships equals to the overall like world countrywide vibe between men and women. And that's not true. Just because your woman has some power over you and your relationship doesn't mean in the grand scheme of things, you still don't have most of the power in the situation and you're upset that she wants some of it. To me, the way black men treat black women is the same way that white people treat black people. Men just don't understand it. And it's weird to me. How is it that you can complain about racism towards black men and you can't see the way black men treat black women? You know what I'm saying? And then prime example in this conversation, complaining about women, Lewis has no idea the shit that JT does to Chanel. And he's still complaining about her. Shit that Lewis would never do to Jax. Crazy, y'all. Crazy. Don't know who you talking to, taking advice from these dumbass dudes. Anyway, like I said, JT asked Lewis if he checked Jax. Don't respect us unless you demand it. Because what does respect look like if it's not doing what they want you to do over what you want to do? Chris said you can't ask her to give up her job. Lewis says he sacrificed so much at the beginning, but Chris says you agreed to those sacrifices and now you want to be mad at her about it? JT starts talking about how much he pays for shit and how Chanel has a nanny and a maid and she still thinks that she can bitch at him about stuff. You see what I'm saying? You let these niggas pay for everything and they think they can just walk all over you, which is why I don't agree to the idea that women should be financially dependent upon men. Like the way y'all, you know, put it out there, the hypergamy and all of that. You want a man to just be, you know, I mean, that doesn't always mean a woman doesn't have her own. It just means she wants her husband to be financially responsible for everything. And I just kind of feel like, no. Lewis says Jackson thinks she's perfect and can do no wrong. Is that what she thinks? JT says that's what they all think. And she's a boss bitch at work. Lewis says she keeps talking about couples therapy, but he knows that she just wants a co-signer. And Chris said, wait, don't sleep on couples therapy because we did it before we got married and it helped us out a lot. JT is looking at Chris like, you ain't got nothing to complain about Sally about. He was like, no, I don't have anything bad to say about my wife. Couples therapy, nigga. Like I said, okay? JT walks away and Chris tells Lewis, look, bro, get out of here soon, okay? Because if you get out of here, you don't have nothing to lie about, okay? But Lewis fucked around and found out, walked into one of the rooms and saw JT having a threesome with that one school mom who was trying to talk to Lewis and some other lady. And I was like, oh, Lord, not the threesome. So Lewis goes to Jax and they get into an argument about him wanting her to be the breadwinner and the homemaker and then cry about it into his arms. Apparently before we found them, Jax was the breadwinner and still the person like primarily responsible for the children until they separated when Lewis tried to give her an ultimatum about choosing between the family and the job. And then he's also, not liking the way that she's not emotionally vulnerable with him all the time. He thinks that he's the only one sacrificed. She says, you don't know half the shit I do for this family. He asks how they got here because he wants things back the way they were. And she says, the way they were doesn't work. You resent me for doing what I love, and I resent you for holding what I love against me. That's how we got here. Neither of us are happy. He says he wants her, maybe she doesn't want him. And I'm like, okay, so we're going to self-pity our way out of this conversation because she's actually having this conversation with you. And that's the thing about Lewis that works on my nerves. Lewis would beg to talk. And as soon as Jax would sit down and have the conversation, he starts running. Okay. He says he doesn't know how much time he has to give to this relationship. And she says it sounds like another ultimatum to me. The next day, everybody is together. And JT asked Lewis if he found a sparring partner at the party. And Lewis says they were all taken. Okay. He says he doesn't own anybody. He's just renting. So JT was basically like, yeah, I had a threesome with that one school mom. But if you want to fuck her too, you can. The school mom is there at this kids party. That I think it's JT and Chanel's kids party. She fucked JT the day before. Today she's at the kids party with her kid. I was just like, oh wow. This is messy. This is so fucking messy. Helping Jack stuff goodie bags. Bitch, you fucked this lady's husband and you stuffing goodie bags at her baby party the next day. That is crazy. Oh my God, it's insane. So I think at one point AT and Lewis were talking and Lewis asked if they were in a, open relationship. And he was like, fuck no. And it's because he could not take Chanel doing whatever she wanted to do. Then he fake smiles singing his daughter happy birthday with Chanel. Lewis looks sad, like he doesn't want to be like them. Like now I'm realizing that JT don't have this shit figured out either. Duh. So before he leaves, he and Chanel have a little conversation about how Jack seems lighter and happier recently. She can tell there's still love for Lewis in her heart. And Lewis was smiling, acting like it was cool, but he knows that shit between him and Jax is not good right now. So if Jax is smiling, it ain't because of him. So now Chanel has put it in his mind that she could possibly be talking to somebody else. So then we see Jax having really good sex with Damon in that hotel room, child. And he's saying he wants more. He wants to be more. Child, the way he was talking to her while they was fucking, I was just like, oh, Lord. When she goes to the bathroom, Will, the security guard, texts her and Damon deletes the text messages. I said, this makes sense. Then Lewis goes to see Mama Lou and she tells him that Jax just wants to feel wanted like the women in the movies. And it's just like the delusion. Yeah, she wants to be wanted, but she wants to be respected for being a person. And doing her job, doing what is good for her. And it's just like, you don't want her to do that. You want her to do what makes you feel good. And that's not how any of this works. Jax goes to court and a partial fingerprint that doesn't match Braden's or Kalicia's is on the murder weapon, the wine glass that he used to murder that girl. There was also an issue with the original police report. So we had to investigate that, find out what happened there. Damon is supposed to be getting some VIN numbers for the illegal car situation before his coffee date with Jax, but he didn't do it. Lewis finds out from the babysitter because hold on. Lewis finds out from the babysitter where Jax is and calls her while she's on her date with Damon. And at first, she ignored it. And then we see Lewis sitting outside watching her ignore the call. He was about to walk into the cafe and disrupt their date, but decided not to. He then called that house mom and fucked her. Then he calls his brother and says that, you know what, I'm done with Jax for good. It's like, you separated from that lady. You already watched her security guard, and now you're mad that she's on a coffee date. Lewis is confusing. Jack's mom calls her and tells her that Paul is in the hospital, and it doesn't look good. We see Jax back in the day. Now we get the story behind Jax and her stepdad, Paul, right? So at this time, she's like a teenager. She wants to be a nurse. She wanted to help people. Not fight the defense and all of that for the criminal. She wanted to actually help the people. We see Paul back in the day, okay? He drops Jax off at Sally's house and tells her that he put some money aside to get her a car. Then he hugs her and grazes her boob, but then acts as if he didn't notice it. And she's kind of like, but she just lets it go. Present time, Jax is escaping from the hospital and Lewis is telling her that she needs to put her family first. And we're now understanding that Jax was being groomed by her stepdad. So whenever her mom is forcing her to be around him, it's hard for her. Specifically right now, while she's fighting this case with Braden, who sexually assaulted Kalisha. So it's very triggering for her. Braden sees his board having a meeting without him about pulling out of the sale of his company because of this murder trial. They want Theo to take head and speak about Cloud in an interview. And when Theo is asked if Braden is innocent, he says no one knows what anyone is capable of, basically throwing Braden under the bus and making it so that he can take over the company. So Braden is pissed. Damon didn't do what he needed to do with the illegal car parts. I told y'all that. And his brother is pissed off that he flaked for a bitch, which really upset Damon for him to continue to talk about her like that. Okay, the brother was just like, fuck you, bro. You once again choosing some bird, some woman over your family and what you gotta do. We see another flashback to Paul busting into the bathroom when Jax was getting out of the shower, talking about, you've been in here for too long, okay? For a Q-tip. You mean to tell me you couldn't wait 5 more minutes for a fucking Q-tip? And she screamed when he bust in the door. And her mom, what's all this going on? And he's like, child, no one wants to see what you got, little girl. I was like, that's such bullshit. Her mom says, next time, lock the door if you want someone to know you're in here. And he just said that she was in there too long. So he knew that she was in there. Mama is already rationalizing this shit of GP instead of being like, so which one is it? Did you not know she was in here? Or did you get impatient on waiting for her and bust in here for a fucking Q-tip on my daughter while she was naked? Because if anybody was paying attention, that should have been a moment to give you pause. Okay? Not tell your daughter to lock the door. The fuck? Oh my. He said he knew she was in there and that she was taking too long. Then he said she was overreacting to him busting into the room while she was naked. So during these hospital visits, Jax is always rushing out, making everybody upset. But it's because she can't sit there and act like she does this man to pass. Okay. Braden is pissed about Theo calling him a possible murderer on national television. So now he wants to go on the stand. So they do a mock trial because Jax wants to prove that you are not ready to get on the stand. He pretends to be honest and sensitive to Kalisha's death. And then Jax turns it around and calls him an abusing narcissist who could have possibly raped Kalisha. And then we realize you shouldn't get your black ass on the stand. Now go sit back down there where the defendant's supposed to sit. Jax has lunch with Damon and she gets called away. When she comes back, because she got called away and she's having a conversation outside, he's upset. When she comes back, he says, I'm tired of all these niggas popping up. And she says, niggas, Lewis is the father of my children. Like, what are you talking about? He says, so let me come with you. And she says, no. She has to go see about her kid and her husband is there. And you want to come? What's wrong with you? He says if he's not good enough to be a part of her everyday life, they can just end this shit right here. She said the last man that gave her ultimatum doesn't live with her anymore. Don't play with her like that. I said, I know that's right. You niggas gonna get tired of trying to make this lady do what y'all want her to do. Jax and Lewis were called to the kids' school. They both got to pick them up, and Spencer asked what the punishment for his parents will be since they're not handling their responsibilities, and they need to get it together. Lewis says that he talked to a divorce lawyer, and Jax was shocked. Like, what you mean you talked to a divorce lawyer? He tells her that to shit or get off the pot because this is messy and it's fucking up their family. And she was like, I know. And it was like, why is it on her and not on you? Whatever. We see another flashback of Paul knocking something off of Jax's butt. Oh, wait, he got something on you. When she was a teen. And when she moved away, he asked why she's weird. So basically, you do something to make her feel uncomfortable with her body. And then when she responds naturally, you make her feel bad for her response. So if you do it enough, eventually, when you do something, she's not going to react that way. She's going to tell herself, oh, this is just an accident like all the other times. But just the fact that there are all the other times should show you it's not an accident. He's grooming her. It's very creepy and like makes my skin crawl. Then we see Jax go to Chanel's house in present day. Apparently, Chanel is the only person that Jax has ever talked to about Paul. Jax says she kept it from Lewis because she wanted their kids to have a relationship with the grandparents. And she knows that Lewis would not have let the kids go over to see her mom and Paul if he knew what happened. Jax tells Chanel about Damon and her screwing him, and Chanel tells Jax that she told Lewis that, you know, she seemed happy, but she thought it was about Lewis, not some other guy. And Jax is like, why would you talk about my marriage with my husband? Do I talk about, you know, whatever the fuck you and JT got going on with him? And Chanel goes off on her and tells her she's damaged and she creates trauma where there is none, because she's been hurt so much. And it was, you know, Chanel was like, you know, I feel so sorry for you, Jax, because I'm the only person that you've been able to trust with one of your biggest secrets. And now because I said I talked to your husband for 2 seconds about how happy you look, now all of a sudden I'm not trustworthy. Yeah, you're just trying to find the issue. I don't think she was trying to find the issue. I think she had every right to feel how she felt. It doesn't mean she can't trust Chanel the way she said, but Chanel needs to stop projecting on their relationship, because I really feel like Chanel's whole mindset is he's not as bad as JT. A lot of people will base how they feel about a relationship or a person based on the worst. So if it's not the worst, then it's good. I don't think so. I'm just like giving that lady an ultimatum between being with him in the family and being a lawyer. Like, that sounds crazy to me that you would even ask that of her after all that hard work she put in. Like, what? I'm not retiring until I'm ready to retire. What are you talking about? So y'all know Rich is Jack's law partner. Rich talks to Theo and he keeps shading Rich about, you know, oh, you're so scared of Jax. And he tells him, listen, Jax is not my boss. She is my partner and she is my friend. So yeah, my loyalty lies with her, just as your loyalty lies with Braden, unless things have changed. He tells Rich, well, you know what? I'm leaving, you know. I don't need to go over the case. They got his DNA to see if his DNA was going to match that other fingerprint on the murder weapon, because it's a possibility that Theo could have killed Kalisha too. So y'all, Sarah, Braden's wife, takes the stand. It comes out that she emailed Kalisha threatening emails. She gives white woman tears on the stand. Jax makes it clear that Sarah doesn't have a good alibi either. After court, Sarah says that she's starting to believe that Braden did assault and murder Kalisha. Braden says, say that shit to me again. On her like he was going to do something to her, and Jax had to get in between the two of them. But Sarah had every right to be upset. Y'all threw her under the bus to create reasonable doubt. Okay. I'm just saying, sounds real reminiscent of something that's going on in real life, but I'm going to leave it alone because I don't want my blood pressure going up. Later, she goes to see him and he is having a pity party. Then he pushes up on Jax. I'm talking about Braden. Pushes up on Jax, telling her that she smells like Kalisha. Oh, cocoa butter, nigga. Then he says, I'm sorry, and runs out. Like he basically was ignoring her, telling him no, and then pushed up on her. It's so weird to me the way men ignore social cues. That lady is nowhere near interested in you, wasn't showing you in no type of way that she was interested in you. Y'all, it's so crazy as a woman how you always have to be on your P's and Q's because you never know when some person, some dude, I mean, even sometimes some woman will use a vulnerable moment to take advantage of you. Like you always have wondering if somebody is to try to, you know, fuck you when you don't want to be fucked. Like, leave me alone. Like, and then people don't understand it's not even just that they would physically try to do something to you. It's the insinuation of you letting me know that the whole time I thought we were just cool, you've been thinking about fucking me the whole time, which makes me feel like you've been plotting on me in a predatory manner. You know what I'm saying? So when he did that, all of those feelings came rushing in. And I'm sure they came in for Jackson because she's been preyed upon by her stepdaddy. Okay? So we see the night Paul jumped into bed with Jax. Like it was her mom. Oh, I'm just so drunk. I forgot which bed I was getting into and jumped into the bed with Jax and just started feeling all on her body as if she was her mom. And then he, you know, oh, I'm sorry. I was so drunk. I thought it was your mom. Oh, you did? Really? You don't know the layout of your fucking house? Will shows up to Jack's house, now realizing that he was fired because Lewis saw them have sex on camera. He needs a reference so he can get another job. She says, no problem. As she's walking him out, Damon comes in, chokes Will out, and then says he's her man and beats the shit out of Will, kicking him while he's on the ground and everything. She keeps putting him in these fucking situations. Who put you in a situation? You ran up on my house unannounced and beat up on somebody you don't know. Like, what? I was like, Damon is crazy. You got to drop him. He's so sexy, but you got to drop him. This nigga's crazy. Like, really out of nowhere. She tells him that he is not her man and tells him to leave her house. Will says meeting her was the worst thing that ever happened to him. Well, Will, you other motherfucker don't need to be just popping up at people's houses. What is wrong with y'all? All these on this show. What is wrong with y'all? Like, first of all, Will, that lady does not have to help you get a job. How about you don't fuck your clients, whether you're working for them or not? How about that? How about you don't flirt with your clients? Because you was flirting with that lady the whole time knowing her husband had hired you. And then you popping up at her house unannounced because somehow you fucking with her and getting fired means that she's supposed to find you another job. And then she acquiesced when she really could have told you, if you don't get the fuck from in front of my house, we gonna find out if I got guns in here, okay? Because that was just weird as fuck. And what type of security guard, you know, gets his ass that quickly? I was just kind of like, you don't need to be no security guard. Braden's mom gets on the stand for his trial and talks about being so angry when her son, Braden's younger brother, was killed that she wanted to go out and kill the person that killed him. But it was her son who told her, don't do it, mama, it's not worth it. She says Braden destroyed the gun. He didn't want to answer violence with violence. I said, oh, really? I don't believe it. But the mama got up, you know, there and basically said, child, my son was a better person than me when I wanted to take somebody's life, killing my baby. Jax calls Lewis and tells him that she wants him, and now he wants time. He just asked her and told her to make a decision. She makes the decision, and now he need more time. And that's what I'm talking about with Lewis never knowing what he wants. So then we see the flashback of Paul apologizing for getting in bed with Jax. She didn't believe him, but she didn't understand what was going on either. She tells her mom, and then her mom and Paul argue, and her mom kicks Paul out. Then Paul slid a check under the door, and that's another tactic. as if he was paying for something and made her feel dirty. Almost like turning her into a prostitute, into a transactional situation. It put me in the mindset of when he said he was going to get her a car. Her mom had just said she couldn't afford to get her a car. And now here he coming telling her that he's going to get her a car. Yeah, no, I don't like it. It's a way to get her to feel like she has to repay you in some way. So when you make all of those advances at her, I mean, coming at that girl and the way these predators come at girls in all of these different ways, they're so young. I don't know how they could possibly fight off from all of those different avenues. You giving money. You in the house as a stepfather. So that means you're trying to create some familial relationship with her. Then you grooming her with the touching her by accident shit. Then the drunk stuff. You know, so you're setting it up on every front to make her question herself and make other people question her. When you know exactly what you're about to do. It's crazy. It's so crazy. Okay. But either way, her mom then starts to cry. What do I do now? So now Jax has to comfort her mom because her mom is upset because she can't be with the alcoholic that has been grooming her daughter. Oh, it's a good man. She wishes, okay? She wishes he could have been better for her. Now, what is she supposed to do? Child and mama. So thirsty for a damn man. And that's why I wish women would stop being so thirsty for men. I really do. Because it puts you in a situation where you're so happy to be fucking loved by any old body that you will ignore the red flags of them being predatory about your children. That's why the whole environment of you need a man, I don't like it. I don't like it. Like, I think people should have partnership. I think people should have relationships. I don't think people should go through this life alone. I don't. But I also don't think that women should have this I need a man shit at the, at the top of the forefront of their mind all the time, because I think it makes them desperate in one way or another. But yes, Damon apologizes. He says that it's crazy that Jax doesn't call him back and she doesn't think about his feelings. She says he attacked him. Now he expects her to take out his feelings. She ends the relationship. She ends the relationship. She hugged him. Like she did her mom. All of a sudden now she is the person that's comforting someone who's harmed her. Like, in essence, her mom harmed her by bringing that man into the household and ignoring all the red flags. It's the same thing with Damon. Damon just done something violent to Jax, and now he's crying on her shoulder. Oh, girl. Jax goes to see Paul in the hospital, present day. He's alone. And she asked if he ever thinks about what happened when she was 16. And he says, I was a blackout drunk back then. In the hospital, tubes all in his nose and shit, feigning sickness. She asked if it was a mistake that he got caught. He says, if that's her truth, if that's your truth, but that's not my truth. She says that she thinks he was grooming her the entire fucking time. He reaches for the nurse remote and she snatches it away and tells him if he ever comes near her daughter Naima, she will kill him with her bare hands. And then, out of stress, he starts and she backs away. The nurses come, running in, and he dies. And her mom is crying over his body. Jax then realizes she knows who killed Kalisha. So we see Kalisha and Braden the night that she signed the NDA. She says they argued and she said no many times to him, but he kept going. So she gave in. And this is when she's talking about that sexual assault situation. He apologizes and she says she just wants to move on. She signs the NDA. I think they hunched, and he went on about his way. Wait, hold on. I don't think they hunched yet, but she signs the NDA. Theo busts in her door, calling her an annoying little gnat. He tells her to keep his name out of her mouth and leaves. So then we see that Theo couldn't have been a killer. He came and left. Then Braden sees that she signed the NDA. Fuck you. Yeah, they had sex. And so had sex, signed NDA. He leaves. Theo comes. Theo leaves. Braden sees that she signed the NDA. Fuck you. Goes back to her house and stabs her in the neck with a broken wine glass. He did it on purpose. It may have been a moment of passion, but he did it. He meant to do it. Jack says that she looked at the NDA and she sees the signature is the same as a thank you note that Braden wrote. So she matched the handwriting. So now her team knows that Braden is the actual murderer. She would have never taken the case if she would have known that. So they have Paul's funeral. And Jax apologizes to Chanel for telling her she can't trust her. And Chanel tells her that she needs to tell Louis so he can stop expecting, so he can stop expecting Jax to be sad about Paul being dead. Okay, because now she's free. Her mom is sleeping at her house during the time, after the funeral. Mama Lou thinks Paul is the only father I had. And Jax tells her that Paul was a sick man. He groomed her when he was drunk and when he wasn't. Mama Lou made excuses for Paul. She says her daddy was a dope addict. Jax's father was a dope addict. And when she left him, that was her choosing Jax and herself over a man. And that's the thing. That is the thing, y'all. Because the first dude was a dope addict, you're now comparing a statutory rapist to a drug addict. In life, the statutory rapist is going to work every day and paying bills, you know what I'm saying? And taking care of the household in a certain manner. The dope fiend is putting your daughter in harm's way, doing dope right in front of her. You know what I'm saying? You can't trust him alone with her because he's on dope. So you can see that she don't see what's going on with Paul. So in her mind, Paul's better. And whenever women, let me tell y'all something, please stop comparing things to the worst. If something has happened to you and there's a person that you could be like, man, that person really fucked over me, do yourself a favor and do not go into the next relationship feeling like, oh, well, some of the things are similar, some of them, but it's not as bad as the last relationship. As bad is not good enough, y'all. I just want everybody to remember that. Not as bad is not good enough. Okay? Anyway, y'all. Oh Lord, that was so upsetting. Okay, so remember I told y'all I was uploading a video and I was trying to upload a video and it was on 7%. That was like an hour and some change ago. It's now on 11%. Like, y'all, I cannot win for losing today. We'll see if any of this content makes it to YouTube. Anyway, Jax tells Damon she's going to try and fix her marriage. He tells his brother and he says he's better off. Damon also tells him he can't do the illegal car part shit no more. And his brother says, he thought that he was doing it for him. Damon was doing it so that he could pay for Jax. And so now he's pissed off and fires him. And he has nothing. That brother, I feel like, probably had always been jealous of his older brother. And you get straight out of jail and get a woman like that, I bet you any money there was some jealousy, because why are you mad because your brother who just got out of jail and is on fucking parole doesn't want to risk his freedom by doing this illegal car part shit? You was already doing it by yourself. Why you can't let him work the shop regular and then have everybody else do that shit? But you was looking for opportunity to be able to fuck a brother because you jealous of him. Like, you was looking for the opportunity to give him your ass to kiss. And that's sad, because I think it pushed Damon over the edge. He was already on that bitch, but it pushed him over. So they go to court, and Jax lets Braden know that she knows he killed Kalisha, and he didn't have to lie to kick it. After Braden asked her how she knew it was him, she says that she was gaslit by a man just like him. He asked what happened, and she said he died. So yeah, Braden's a sociopath, and now he's being open about it. Okay, he says he killed the guy who robbed him back in the day. Because remember I told y'all he told that story at JT's event about being robbed and how if he had had a gun, both of them probably would have been dead. Well, guess what? He did have a gun, and he killed that dude. And I believe he killed the dude who killed his brother too. Okay? But anyway, he tells Jax that if she thinks that he's going to let her get in the way of all of what he's done to get to where he is, this won't end up well for her. I was just like, sure, we'll see. She looks scared though. Jax gets hit by a car and she's then kidnapped. We didn't know who did it at this point because now you've been threatened by at least 2 people. Lewis goes to get his kids from the babysitter, and we find out that Jax was supposed to come pick the kids up, and she's still not answering the phone. So now he's worried. He tracks her phone and he can't find her. So he drops the kids off at Mama Lou's and goes to find her. He finds his way to Damon's shop, who is packing up his stuff because he was fired. Lewis says that he's Jack's husband, and Lewis says he's Jack's husband, and Damon was like, congrats, man. Then he says he doesn't, I don't fuck married women, so I don't know what's going on with Jax. I don't know where she at. Lewis says she's probably, she's maybe missing. I haven't been able to get in contact with her. And Damon is like, I haven't seen her. Oh, you haven't? I seen her. Child, you seen her. Damon is the one that kidnapped her. And he is blaming Jax for giving hope that he could have a better life. It's like, nigga, you needed therapy. Like, you needed to go and talk to somebody as soon as you got out of jail. That's another thing. Y'all want to talk about trying to make people better. Y'all put them on these extensive ass parole and probation periods. I feel like another thing that y'all need to be doing is having clinical psychologists talk to these people. We all know that most people that have ended up in prison ended up there because of some shit in their lives, okay? Like fucked up stuff from childhood, situations, whatever, but a traumatic experience of going to jail, getting out, and then having to reacclimate yourself to a world that has basically left you behind. Yeah, y'all want them to stay in halfway houses and do group. No, y'all need to get actual psychologists. Like, the state needs to pay for psychologists to sit down and have at least 2 sessions a week with every offender that y'all let out on parole, so that them people can get their fucking head together. Because if you think that just letting somebody come out into the world after being traumatized in prison is a way for them not to go back to jail, you're stupid. You're stupid, okay? Child. She tried to placate him, but he wasn't listening. Got the girl tied to the chair, blaming her for everything. Reminds him about her kids. And it's obvious that Damon became a killer in prison, that he had to protect himself. Who knows what happened to him while he was in there. He tells her she made a mistake, and then she tells him that she couldn't give up her family over potential. And then he shoots himself in the head, y'all. And y'all, my heart was broke. I didn't see that one. I didn't think he was going to kill himself, y'all. Jax tells Lewis about Paul grooming her as a child after she's rescued. Lewis came to the rescue, y'all. As soon as Damon blew his brains out, the police came running in because Lewis figured that she's in there and had some people down to the police station help. Y'all, it's crazy. But yeah, so after Jax gets home, she talks to Lewis about Paul grooming her as a child. He gets upset first. Why didn't you tell me? But then he's sorry that happened to her. And he's even sorrier that she felt she couldn't tell him. Now he's willing to try couples therapy because now things make a little bit more sense for him. He wants to stay on the sofa instead of leaving that night. And she was like, no, Lewis, just stay in the damn bed. I never want your ass out the bed. You wanted to leave. So when she wakes up the next day, the verdict is in. And Brayden is found not guilty. The girl had been kidnapped and everything. Still had to go to court the next day. Sarah tells Brayden that she's divorcing him, taking the kids in half. I said, Sarah, more power to you. Like, he deserves it. He deserves for her to take the kids. He's a psycho. And take whatever she can get from him financially. She don't need it because she come from money. But yeah, do it. Brayden fired Theo. Brayden thought he had one child. Jax had her assistant send Cloud business information to the FBI, so they were able to investigate them inflating the prices of Cloud, and that's illegal for you because you're playing with the stock. So they got him on money laundering, girl. He gonna go to jail for money laundering. You may not have been taken down for Kalisha, but you're gonna get taken down for fucking with the people's money now. Okay? And then at the very end of the episode, Jax gets a call from Chanel. Y'all, Chanel done killed JT. I said, so next season, Jax is probably going to have to defend Chanel. And we're going to have to find out everything that's been going on with Chanel and JT, because she's going to have to defend Chanel for JT's murder. And it's going to have to be self-defense, because she looked fucked up. Like her face was, you know, beat and bruised and all of that stuff. And it looked like she killed him out of self-defense. But we gonna see. I don't know when the new season is gonna come out, y'all, but I cannot wait. I enjoyed this show so much. It was amazing. It was great. Like, I feel like I watched it over like at least 3 or 4 times at this point. So if y'all have not watched it, please check it out. I hope y'all enjoyed the review. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, become a member of my channel, become a member of my YouTube, become a member of my Patreon, and my website, BondyBlueShow.com. I appreciate y'all. Follow me everywhere, BondyBlue. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.